What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Today I'm doing a Glengoyne rundown. So this is going to be a rundown of all the expressions I've reviewed from Glengoyne, as well as a review and entering this one into the list as well. I haven't done an official review yet on the 30-year-old, and I figure what better time to do the official review than a Glengoyne rundown of the entire range. So the way this rundown is going to work is I'm going to tell you guys which one I like least all the way to greatest. And it's not because I don't like this particular expression, but when measured against its siblings, it's just not as good. So first on the list, which means worst on the list, is the Glengoyne 10-year-old. Absolutely nothing wrong with this whiskey. It is beautiful whiskey, 43%. It's 10 years old, no added color. It's a reasonable price. It's a victim of its circumstance. It's being measured against its siblings that are older and frankly a little bit better, but as an entry-level expression, this is quality stuff. Next on the list is going to surprise some people. I would go with the Glengoyne Cask Strength. I do like this whiskey. I think it's very nice, but when I'm looking for a cask strength whiskey, I'm looking for something that's super viscous, syrupy, maybe a little bit more sherry cask influence. Obviously, Glengoyne never peats their whiskey, so you're not going to get that in this cask strength, but the flavors are not as bold as I'd like them to be for a cask strength whiskey. That's why it falls short compared to some of its siblings. Next on the list is the Glengoyne 15-year-old. Now, the Glengoyne 15-year-old was priced very well for a very long time at the LCBO. It was only $10 more than the Glengoyne 12-year-old. At that price, a lot of people went with the 15-year-old as opposed to the 12-year-old, thinking that they're getting something of better quality. In my opinion, though, the 15-year-old falls short of the 12-year-old because of the nose. The nose is just not quite as good as the 12-year-old. Although it's really, really nice whiskey, it's just a little bit short of that. So I would probably give this one an 85. Obviously, little hint given there, the Glengoyne 12-year-old would be next on my list. Excellent stuff. I love this stuff. It's one of my favorite 12-year-old Scotch whiskeys. It's just incredible. I love the coconut notes that come from the nose and the palate. I'm not sure how they do that. I've never been able to get that note from any other whiskey before. It's so prevalent. I love it. Fantastic stuff. This one's an 87 for me. Really good stuff. It's probably a couple marks shy of what I originally gave it, but that's just because it's in heavy competition based on some of the other things that I've reviewed. So this next whiskey I've actually reviewed twice, and I've changed the mark twice already. I think I'm going back to my original mark, maybe a little bit shy of that. It's the Glengoyne 21-year-old. I really like this whiskey. I think it's excellent whiskey. I love the sherry influence. I believe it's a little too oaky for a 21-year-old whiskey. I think it should be a little bit less oaky, a little bit less astringent. It's 43%. So it would be nice to have this at about 46 as well. But honestly, for cost and quality, you're getting a great product. This one's about an 88 for me. Really, really nice stuff. Just not as good as some of the siblings. The one that nudges that one out a little bit is the Glengoyne 18-year-old. I love this whiskey. I think it's one of the best 18-year-old whiskeys there is. I've loved it from day one. It was my introduction to the Glengoyne distillery, and what an introduction. It probably at the time was my favorite whiskey when I tried it. That's happened a lot since then. I've had a lot of whiskeys that I tried for the first time and become my favorite whiskey. But that Glengoyne 18, I recommend it to pretty much everybody I can. I think it's great value. I think it's high quality whiskey. It's a little bit better than the 21-year-old and at a much better price. So the Glengoyne 18-year-old is probably an 89, which is just shy of an A+ for me. Alright, so I haven't actually had an opportunity to review this next one. It's the Glengoyne Teapot Dram. This is a distillery exclusive, and I've had an opportunity to try it thanks to Roy from Aquavite. It is incredible stuff. I just wish I had an opportunity to have a whole bottle so that I can do a proper review and place this where I believe it fits best. But I do believe that it fits somewhere between the 18-year-old and the 25-year-old for me. That's a clue to what my next one will be, but this is high quality stuff. If you ever get a chance to go to the distillery, don't leave without a Teapot Dram. I believe they go pretty quickly. They're batch by batch. I think it comes out every year. I don't know enough about the Teapot dram. I would love to get to know it a little bit better. Maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to grab a bottle. So as I alluded to already, the 25-year-old is the second place in the Glengoyne distillery. Incredible stuff. It's 48%, so you're getting a higher ABV than you're used to with Glengoyne. It's unchill filtered, no added color, but the stuff is very dark. I love this stuff. I think it's incredible. If I gave it a mark, it would probably be a 90, A+ for sure. Really, really nice stuff. It's a little hotter than I'd like it to be at 48%. I think I've had younger whiskeys at 48% that don't have that heat that the 25-year-old has. But I love the espresso notes. I love the dark chocolate notes. It's not super sweet, but that's okay because it's very elegant and very sophisticated. And then last but not least, which means first on the list of the Glengoyne rundown, is this beautiful Glengoyne 30-year-old. To this date, it's the best whiskey I've reviewed. And that's because I'm about to review it right now. There's one other whiskey that I keep going back and forth with that might beat this out a little bit, but not by much. On the nose. Raspberries, strawberries, milk chocolate. You get a very light espresso note on this one. There's none of those dark chocolate notes that you get from the 25-year-old, which is okay because it's something different in and of itself. This is a lot more fresh, which you wouldn't expect from a 30-year-old whiskey. On the palate, raspberries, definitely a lot of milk chocolate here. It's sweet. It's got like a honey sweetness, maybe a little bit of caramel as well. Just beautiful on the palate. Syrupy, mouth coating. It's 46.8%, which means it's unchill filtered. It's got natural color, which is common with all Glengoynes, and I love that. The color is beautiful. The box is beautiful. As you can see here, it's got a beautiful wooden box, and the liquid itself is just incredible. Only 6,000 bottles of this made. All right, so just incredible stuff. Honestly, it's beautiful. I've wavered a few times with what I'm going to give this. It's hard not to praise this whiskey. Like I said, I've given out 94s in the past, which probably shouldn't be 94s based on what I've tried in the last little while. And I'll definitely rectify that when I do rundowns in the near future. But this one is a 94. This is an A+. I think I've only had one whiskey that's better than this so far in my life. And that one is just simply exceptional. So for me, just shy of the A++ range, but honestly, it could be there. There was a while where I was saying this is a 95, this is an A++, and it probably should be. If you let this open up for a nice long period of time, you just get everything that's intended out of this whiskey. Just beautiful stuff. Last time on the palate. Chocolates, raspberries. It's like a creamy strawberry note in there. Only 6,000 bottles, guys, so if you haven't already and you have the money to do it, go buy a bottle, split a bottle with a bunch of buddies. It's worth trying. Honestly, if you're a big Glengoyne fan, you don't want to let this one pass you by. Split it with, if you have to, 20 people and get an ounce and a bit each just to try it. It's going for anywhere between $900 and $1,300 Canadian, and probably more in other places. Alright guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I will put other rundowns in this top corner over here, as well as a Glengoyne playlist at the bottom over here. You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You guys can leave a comment below and I will get back to you. Cheers.